All right, let's get right into it. For decades, we've thought about cybersecurity like it was building a fortress, right? You build thick walls and a deep moat to keep all the bad guys out. But in a world where your office can be literally anywhere, that whole fortress idea is starting to crumble. Today, we're going to dig into why that old model is failing and what's rising up to take its place.
First, let's put a price tag on the problem, $11.45 million. According to a recent report from the Ponemon Institute, that is the average annual cost of a data breach that's caused by an insider. We're not talking about someone breaking in. We're talking about someone who already has the keys. That is an absolutely staggering figure.
And this isn't some static problem either. It's getting worse, fast. The number of these inside jobs has shot up by nearly 50% in just 2 years. This really shines a spotlight on a fundamental shift in where the real danger is coming from.
Which leads us to this really critical question. We spend all this time and money building up our walls, but what do you do when the threat is already walking the halls? Whether they mean to cause harm or it's just an accident, it's a question that forces us to completely rethink our entire approach to security.
So this old model, the one we've put our faith in for so long, we call it the castle and moat approach. But as we're about to see, this kind of ancient strategy really is no match for the modern world.
So on the left, you've got the old way of doing things. One big, strong perimeter, and anyone who makes it inside is automatically trusted. But now, look at the reality over on the right. You've got remote users, people bringing their own devices, services running in the cloud. There is no single perimeter anymore. The idea that your location means you can be trusted, it's officially obsolete.
So if we can't depend on that old model of just trusting people, what's the alternative? Well, we need a completely new philosophy, one that's actually built for the world we live and work in today. And that philosophy is called Zero Trust. The name really says it all, as it's defined by NIST. It's a framework built on one radical, really powerful idea. Assume nothing is safe. Don't just grant trust because someone is on your network. The default position is always zero.
Now the key here is that this isn't just some vague idea. It comes with a set of very concrete rules. You treat everything as a resource. You secure all communication. You grant access just one session at a time. And it's all based on dynamic policies that check not just who you are, but the health of your device, your location, and a whole lot more. The bottom line is, you never trust, you always verify. So here's how that actually works. Every single request, doesn't matter if it's from a user or a device, has to pass through what's called a policy enforcement point. You can just think of it as a micro checkpoint that stands in front of every single application and every piece of data. Nothing gets through without explicit, real-time approval.
But okay, here's the challenge. If you're constantly verifying everything, how in the world do you spot a malicious insider when their actions look almost identical to normal, everyday work? That is a much harder problem to solve.
And researchers have absolutely confirmed this. I mean, a malicious employee downloading a file looks a whole lot like a diligent employee downloading a file. As this quote points out, their behavior is specifically designed to blend in, which makes the old security methods that are just looking for obvious attacks pretty much useless. The other huge problem is that traditional systems are just noisy. They generate a constant stream of alerts for things that are completely harmless. This leads to something called alert fatigue. The security teams get so buried in false alarms that they just start tuning them out, which makes it way too easy to miss the one alert that actually matters. So, how do we fix this? Well, a new breakthrough in artificial intelligence is offering a really powerful tool. And it's not about just making a simple yes or no decision. It's about understanding nuance. So researchers have developed a new AI model that dramatically cuts down on that alert fatigue. You can see on this chart it reduces the rate of false alarms, those harmless actions that get flagged as threats, by a massive 38% compared to the baseline methods. For a security team, that is a total game changer. But the real genius here is how it works. See, this AI doesn't just say threat or no threat. It actually understands uncertainty. The blue here shows the real threats, which the AI identifies with low uncertainty. It's very confident. The orange shows the false alarms, where the AI has high uncertainty. It's basically saying, hey, this looks a little weird, but I'm not totally sure. A human should probably take a look. And by focusing its automated decisions on the threats that it's most confident about, the model achieves this incredible number, a 94.7% detection accuracy. So it's both smarter and much more precise.
So what happens when you combine this never trust philosophy with an AI that's actually smart enough to enforce it without totally overwhelming your team? Well, you get a truly modern defense.
This AI essentially becomes the brain of the zero trust system. It acts as that policy engine we saw a minute ago. And it makes these intelligent, real-time decisions about who gets access to what based on a deep understanding of behavior, instead of just a simple checklist.
So what this creates is this really powerful partnership. Zero Trust gives you the right strategy. Protect your resources, not some imaginary walls. And this new AI gives you the right tool, intelligent enforcement that can spot those subtle threats and just ignore all the noise. The result is a defense that can finally keep up.
And this all leaves us with one final thought. As the very idea of a central office just fades away and our data lives pretty much everywhere, the only logical path forward seems to be abandoning trust as our default setting. The future of security might just be verifying everything, every single time.